Last week, Apple released some long-awaited products and some really weird ones. In this video, I'm going to tell you what those products were. There was not an event, just in case. It was just through press releases, and I'm going to give you my opinion. So let's get to it. Okay, let's begin with the Apple TV in its 7th generation, the second in less than 2 years. The last one was released or announced about 17 months ago. So in less than 2 years, we have two Apple TVs. What is the difference between the old one and the new one? Basically, it is the processor. It will now have the A15 Bionic chip, which is found on the iPhone 13s and the non-Pro iPhone 14s. It will have two versions. One that is Wi-Fi only, has 64 gigabytes, and it will be $129, less than the starting price before. And you will have a second option for 128 gigabytes. I don't know of anyone that needs 128 gigabytes on an Apple TV. But if that's you, you now have the option to purchase it. It will also have Ethernet, and it will have Thread networking support. Basically, the only other upgrade that this brings is that it will also now have, because of that A15 Bionic chip, it will have HDR10 Plus support. The other thing that they changed is the controller. And no, they did not change the controller entirely. I know they switched it last year or 17 months ago when they announced the last one. They brought this kind of futuristic and reminiscent to what the older Apple TV controller was. But in this case, the only change that they made to it is that it's now charged via USB-C. It will no longer be a Lightning. So little by little, they're moving things in the USB-C. Hopefully, we will have the iPhone USB-C version soon. Anyways, let's continue. Now we're going to talk about the iPad Pro. It will come with an M2 processor that will give it the capacity to record ProRes video. I don't know, again, of anybody who records video with their iPad, but if you want to record, they use the example of you being able now to record ProRes and edit it on your iPad with iMovie instead of Final Cut Pro. Anyways, it will have that feature, and the only other thing was that it will have a new feature for the pencil called Hover. It will detect the pencil 12 millimeters away from the screen, and it will give you sort of a preview of where you are going to be using the pencil. That's actually a pretty nice feature, but I'm pretty sure that if you look into it, it will probably be just software related, not actual iPad because of the M2 processor or anything like that. Aside from that, nothing else. No wireless charging, no Apple Pro apps, as I mentioned before, no Final Cut, no nothing. No being able to boot to a Mac OS-like system, which is something that if you're going to call this the iPad Pro, you should do that. And no mini LED for the 11-inch iPad Pro. So there is still a difference between the 11-inch and the 12.9-inch iPad Pro. The 12.9-inch, you could say, is the iPad Pro Pro because it's Pro-er than the 11-inch. Anyways, finally we get to the most confusing one, which is the 10th generation of the iPad. And this was long awaited. It will have the A14 Bionic chip, making it faster than the 9th generation redesign with flat edges like other iPad models. And it kind of brings the whole line kind of into perspective and uniformity, but not necessarily, and I'll tell you why later. It is also the first iPad with a selfie cam in the landscape orientation. So now for video calls, you won't be awkwardly looking away anymore. Also, it will have USB connectivity. A new accessory was announced also for this iPad. Is exclusive to this iPad. It's called the Magic Keyboard Folio. It will have a detachable mouse and keyboard alongside with a rear kickstand style back that can remain attached to the iPad even if you detach the keyboard and mouse. For those of you interested, the Magic Keyboard Folio will cost $249 US, and the iPad increased in price to $449. But the 329 ninth generation iPad is still available even when a new version came out. Also, I didn't mention, I forgot, sorry, the iPad 11-inch and 12.9-inch remain at the same prices, $799 for the 11-inch and $11.99 for the 12.9-inch. As if I wasn't saying bad things already, here come the bad stuff, the really bad stuff now. It will still use an Apple Gen 1 pencil. Now, wait a minute. Because you might be saying now, I heard you say that it uses USB-C, but it's going to use the Gen 1 Apple Pencil. Yeah, you heard me right. You heard me right. It has USB-C to power, and it uses the first gen Apple Pencil, just in case you're wondering. No, they did not update the first gen Apple Pencil to have a USB-C connector. You will have two options. If you've never bought an Apple Pencil before, when you buy your Apple Pencil, it will come with an adapter from Lightning to USB-C. Both sides are what is called female. Both sides, so you can connect the pencil to the adapter and the adapter to the cable, so you can connect the cable either to the iPad to charge the pencil or to the charge brick so you can charge the pencil individually. So that means that you cannot be charging both at the same time unless you have more than one cable that is not provided. You have only one cable. You buy the iPad, you get a cable with the iPad, you don't get a cable with the pencil. You can get the accessory or the adapter if you buy the Apple Pencil new, but you do not get the cable for it. So you have to decide which one it is that you want to charge. If you already do have an Apple Pencil, first generation, you can pay an additional $9 for the adapter individually because they will not give it away for free. Now, this is the most pathetic thing that I've ever seen Apple do. And you guys know everything I use is Apple. I'm recording on my iPhone. I'm using my iPad for the guides to what I say, to use as a guide for the script. This that you're watching right here on the screen, it's through an Apple TV, and that is using AirPlay from my MacBook Pro. So I'm into the Apple ecosystem. But this with the iPads is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You gave it the M2. Nice. You didn't do anything additional with it. What the heck are you doing? I mean, give it Mac OS or something like it already with the MacBook Pro, with the iPads Pro. The iPad operating system, and I made a video about it. If you guys want to see it, I'm going to attach it here about the iPads, or it's going to be attached to the end of the video. I made a video because Apple doesn't know what it's doing with the iPad operating system. You want to use it just for drawing, but then you have an iPad called the iPad Pro. Make it the iPad Pro. Give it Pro apps. Give it a Pro operating system. Give it a good operating system. I'm not saying iPad OS is bad. I'm saying iPad OS is being limited on purpose. If you did not limit it and you gave it everything that you wanted to give it, even if it's just to the ones that say Pro, but you're not, you're limiting it. Anyways, if I can stay on this all day, I'm sorry. And now you make this iPad, the original iPad, that does not replace the previous version because it's more expensive now. So instead of making the entire line look nice and uniform and everything squared off, now you have that ugly 9th generation stuck there right between the iPad mini and the iPad, the 10th generation. So now you have the iPad mini with an A15 Bionic, the iPad 9th generation with an A13 Bionic, the iPad 10th generation with an A15 Bionic, the iPad Air with the M1, and the iPad Pro with the M2. By the way, the iPads, you know, if they have M1 and M2, you're not even using half of what that processor can give you. So it's a waste of capacity for the processor. And this is, I honestly, I cannot believe that they did this. Seriously. In all the years that I've been a fan of Apple, I mean, Jobs got to be rolling on his grave. Seriously. There's just no way that this makes any logical sense. Either that or they've gone so far into the, oh, let's give him this device at this price, because when they see the other one that is just a little bit more expensive, they'll just go to the next one up. They've taken it to such a pathetic level that they don't even realize how stupid they're looking right now. This is just messed up. You can't do this. You always said that you wanted things to look nice and beautiful. How beautiful is it to have your iPad, the cable, an adapter, and a pencil at the end? It's horrible. I can even forgive when you used to have the iPad stuck with the pencil on the connector. I could forgive that. But this, it's 3 things stuck into your iPad. It's, oh God. You know what? I'm gonna finish the video here because this stresses me out, especially from a multi-billion-dollar company that they're cheaping out like this. Anyways, if you have a comment regarding the craziness of everything that was announced, and there will be more announced supposedly. There's still more things to come, but about this, go ahead and leave it in the comments down below. While you're down there, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell so you can get notified, because whenever they announce new things, I will make a video about it, and if it's bad, I will rant just like in this video. Anyways, remember, as I always say, if you have a Google or Gmail account, you have a YouTube account. Sign in, subscribe, either with your app or with youtube.com with your favorite browser, and that's the only way that you can smash that like button. We're available on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and obviously YouTube at J.R. Abrams Tech, so you can stay up to date with the latest news and rumors about tech. Until next time.